there's some intro cutscenes with a song with vocals, so I'll be quiet for that. So that's pretty cool. This game definitely starts off on a pretty high note. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a game that I have been meaning to stream for, good God, I think it's actually 2 years at this point, but I finally managed to find an emulator that let me play through it the whole way, and I played it recently. And while I had some mixed feelings about it, that is not going to stop me really wanting to share this game with you folks. And so we are going to get into that right now, and I will be trying to talk through all of my complicated feelings through the entire thing, and, you know, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of talking from me. I know a little bit about some of the localization of this game. It overall, so this, there's going to, I don't think there's any vocals in this cutscene, so I can probably talk over this. There's a couple more areas with vocals. This game, for those of you who are unaware of the Ganbare Goemon franchise, it is a very distinctly Japanese thing with a sense of humor that does not easily translate over to Western shores, especially because a lot of the comedy is based on wordplay, as quite a lot of Japanese comedy is, so that makes things like Gintama, which I absolutely love, very hard to get across. And also we can see here Ibisumaru is pretty much naked, so that's a little bit of a thing that I'm surprised they, didn't try to change that at all for this. That any of these games would get over, because sometimes the humor can be a little bit, well, as I say, it's very different for Western audiences as compared to how things are in Japan. And Nintendo of America was very much not very nice about anything that was adult-oriented, with a few little exceptions here and there. Pretty much until Eternal Darkness came out, I guess. That was, like, the first... I think that was the first properly, like, first or second party M-rated game that was on a piece of Nintendo hardware. And if not, it was damn close. So, yeah, this game, you can see that it's sort of set in, like, Edo period Japan, but we just saw a spaceship. And very much in line... I mentioned Gintama earlier, if you've ever heard of that anime or watched any of it, or read the manga, obviously. There are a surprising amount of similarities, actually, in a lot of ways, with the themes of the aliens and, like, high-tech things stuck in Edo, Japan. And, again, based very much off of yet another character from Japanese fiction that is of great popularity. Gintama, the lead character, is Sakata Gintoki, who is based off of Sakata Kintoki. Basically the name is very not different at all. I think also sometimes called Kintaro. And this is, like, just directly, in fact, in this game, the Goemon is Goemon Ishikawa, who you might know that name from the Lupin series, if you've seen any of Lupin the Third. That is something that will be quite familiar to you, and for good reason. And he's a sort of a mythical Japanese outlaw. But obviously this series is a hell of a lot sillier. Also, it's a Konami game, so, set your feelings about Konami aside for a second. This game, to summarize my feelings about it, I would point out that it's a 3D platformer on the N64. And those are generally a little bit rough and raw. And that tends to be the thing that hurts them a little bit. But I think there's still a lot of fun to be had with this, even so. And there are some parts that are just really great. And a couple that haven't aged very well. And in fact, I think even for like 1998 when this came out, they were a little bit out of date. So let's get a little bit of a feel for our controls. Left stick to move. D-pad doesn't do anything. The Z button lets us crouch and do this, but we have to be standing stock still to start actually crouching and worming around. Hey, Lears, how's it going? The shoulder buttons, I actually don't remember if the shoulder buttons do things. I guess we'll find out later. A button to jump, B button to use our item, which is going to show up in that little box over there right now. Goemon is equipped with a pipe, a kiseru, if you will, and that is what he uses to beat the living crap out of people. You can also switch over to this real coin, and we can press the B button and throw those to have a little bit of a projectile attack at the cost of our actual money. C left changes our item. Yes, this was the days when they put all these weird functions on the C buttons on a lot of these 3D platformers, and it was a very strange experience. Yeah, we're not exactly a ninja, we'll put it that way, although there is a decent amount of magic associated with us. We'll catch up with that later. That buzz that you heard is from me hitting the C up button. That is supposed to be to activate our magical ability, which we don't have yet. C right, C right, I think it's to activate certain very specific things. Again, oh right, C right is the map, and C down lets us switch between our party members. Right now, we just have Goemon and Ibisumaru, who is carrying this hammer. The distinctions between the two at the moment are very, very small, but later on they will grow quite a bit. So everybody, all four of the party members we're going to get eventually will definitely have a chance to shine. And yeah, fairly basic controls. We cannot go underwater at this moment. And of course, when we get in the water, our ability to jump out of the water is almost non-existent. Like, it's amazing that we can get out onto this plank and pick up these coins, but we can't make this little jump here. We have to actually go out to the ramp. Press the A button to talk to people, not the B button like in Super Mario 64. I almost called it Super Mario Brothers 64. That is not correct. So immediately that's an improvement because we are not beating the shit out of people that we're trying to talk to. And so these people are going to tell us things that are half helpful, slightly funkily translated occasionally. This person is very enthusiastic about aliens. Hit by a mysterious beam, turning it into a European castle. That's actually kind of useful information in a way. To a Model EU citizen. The sense of humor in this game is a little bit weird, but I appreciate a lot of it, except for a couple of things that, as I said, have aged quite poorly. What's this old man got to say? Oh, he doesn't know what a UFO is. Well, Fair enough. As they say, anything in the air can be a UFO if you just don't care. Just can't escape out of Minecraft. Oh, you! So, yeah, over the purple guy is a robber, and he just stole part of our money. Robble, and we got some of it back, at least. What about you, officer? What's the matter? I want to know the way to... we got a couple of things we can ask about. Why don't you tell us where the castle is? Passing through this gate and over the Nihonbashi Bridge. Well, that sounds quite simple. Let's just be on our way, right? Well, what have you got to say? The bridge that leads to Oedo Castle has been destroyed so no one can get in. To be continued. Yeah, I've seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as well. I wanted to read the sign. Please move away from the sign. Yeah, it just says, hey, Castle Gate. Let's take a look and see what is going on here. Yeah, that's definitely a bridge that's not in. Emergency star block in use. You can get through using the chain. But we don't have that. Well, crap. We have to go on a side quest before we can go into the castle. Just be like, hey, did anybody get lasered and turned into a model EU citizen, I guess? A model energy units citizen to give Lears throw him a bone. Speaking of which, that makes me really sad that IC2 has not been brought forward past 1.12 Minecraft, because I was looking at some stuff for newer versions, but it's like, oh, that hasn't been updated. And of course, there's also the thing with the Fabric Forge split, and I'm pretty sure that the group that's doing Tech Reborn, which is a fairly similar mod, and at bare minimum would possibly have the Recycler, is doing all that stuff on Fabric. So, ugh. What a pain in my ass. Not to say that I'm planning to set up a Minecraft server for anyone or anything. Alright, so this is the same guy. Where's this checkpoint? We go through the large gate in the shopping district. Castle police box. Anything in here? Is this dude? Be a star block set for emergency use. The chain device used by Mokube, the pipe maker. Well, we gotta figure out where that dude is. I mean, again, I know where he is, but I'm trying to communicate this to you guys without just being like, oh, hey, I'm gonna be... look at me being prima video game guides over here. Heck! That loud voice, that's pretty great. Thanks, game. You feel your air quotes blood rushing, huh? That would be pretty cool too. I gotta admit, you've got a reasonable goal in mind, and by reasonable I mean that's going to be very difficult, but it's a good one. By the way, I have no job. You look like a small child, so that is probably to be expected, frankly. And yeah, this person tells us about the pickpocket. Let's hit him and get our money back. We didn't seem to get all of our money back after we clobbered that guy, though. That's unfortunate. But we will be able to pick that cash up again at some point. There isn't a huge amount of need for money in this game, but you do need some, mostly to activate projectiles and stuff. The Thundergate, huh? Is that around where we are? Your atomic stick, huh? Yeah, there's a lot of jokes that can be made there, that's for sure. Mokube the pipe maker moved to Mount Fuji as a UFO maniac. Should have taped it for one of your feet. Do you have a video camera? Huh. So let's go back and talk to that dude and ask him what's the deal about how we can get to Mount Fuji, because that gate with the red pillars near the Thunder Gate. So I guess the Thunder Gate was right over there. Lead you to the fortune teller where you must turn the corner and go straight. There you'll find the Kai Highway, which will lead you directly to Mount Fuji. Alright, well thank you for the instructions, buddy. That was fairly comprehensive considering that that's a lot of turns to make. Alright, gate with the red pillars. Talk to this old man. That is true. Best thing to do is go see the fortune teller with the plasma power. Worries will fade away. Yes, I've played Earthworm Jim as well. Fortune teller ahead. This is where we go to buy some hints. We actually do have to use this once at one point in the game, but for now, let's get a load of this funky animation for a brief moment. I think that's a brief enough moment for us. We will check that dude out when we have to. Yeah, it is a little bit weird that the signs are like actually like pointing like that. It can be a little confusing. Oh, the dog makes cute little barking noises. If my dog was in here and, you know, I wasn't using headphones, that my dog would be going apeshit from that noise, I'm sure. Your dog is probably alright. I haven't spent a lot of time with your dog, but... And here we go. We get some nice music for the start of our journey. And our first encounter with some enemies here. They are these weird little doll robot things and those floating mouths that... They kind of remind me of those things from Kirby, except a lot less lethal. You know the things I'm talking about, right? Where if you try to suck them up, they'll just go... And it is almost impossible to eat them, but you can get the crash power from them. Oh, up here we've got a little building we can check out. It's a coffee shop. Well, I didn't know you guys had coffee around here. A map of Japan to assistant. Yeah, it sounds pretty nice if you're willing to accept like 104 coins for it. Oh, we're just gonna get the map for free? Well, alright. Press the start button and you can switch the map and back using the Z button. Very nice, very nice. What do you got for us? Place on the dancer called Impact. Now, a big star in the US. Huh. Going to be in a movie. What time is it anyway? What have you got to say for us? Mechanical robots appearing all over the place, attacking travelers in their path. We've seen a couple of those. And last but not least, stamina dumplings. It will get you motoring. We don't have to do... We have no need to do that because that just fully heals us. So this is not quite an inn because it's not actually a save point, but reasonably similar because there's some healing we can get for a fairly reasonable price. Get closer, come on. I really love this game's soundtrack, by the way. This is, like, really good. Although, then again, I feel like Konami is one of those companies that say what you will about anything else they do. They seem to have a really good sound team, like, all the time. I can't really think of a lot of Konami games that don't have good soundtracks. And yes, the green, well, greenish enemies, they've got little present boxes that'll shoot bullets at you. And indeed, the bullets are sprites while the rest of the enemy is a model. Don't pay too much attention to it. This is just the way of things in the N64 era. They do not blend very well, and it is very noticeable in the modern day now that we have more advanced hardware. But here we are at Mount Fuji. Got a lot of railings and stuff for us to climb. And a little scarecrow that shoots bullets at us, apparently. Ooh, there's something over there. There's me failing to hit the jump button. That's... Could have sworn I did, but here we are. Also, yes, you will notice that I'm not really turning the camera very much, and like it's just sort of happening in a couple of places to me. That's because the camera is outside of the player's control entirely, unless you count, oh, you stop moving and eventually it'll start rotating behind you. Which I don't, and I don't think any of you should either. But this is what we want. It is our silver fortune doll. They're basically pieces of heart. Yes, this game is kind of a halfway house between your average 3D platformer of the era and the early 3D Zeldas. In fact, I think this game came out before OOT by like a month or two. At least here in the States. So it's a very weird case of, like, they both were working on this idea at the same time. But while I rip on Ocarina of Time pretty relentlessly for being a wildly overrated game, and even something that I thought at the time was not perfect, it definitely handled a couple of things a little better than this, that's for sure. At least in that, you could, like, hit the Z button and get your camera controls and the targeting and that. Although, again, a lot of things really are just like, hey, the N64 was weird, man. Ah. Yeah, so this area actually has some kind of odd platforming to it for pretty early on. I feel like once we get to the upcoming actual dungeon, that's going to be simpler than this. Also, killer slinkies. Alright, can we rotate so that way we're not gonna get killed when we're doing the Rusty Bucket Bay thing, basically, from inside of the engine room. Not quite, but it reminds me of that a little bit. And yeah, the hitboxes on these Springs of Death, which, like, maybe they're supposed to be like drums. They kind of look a little bit like that's sort of what they're going for. But not like a taiko drum or anything. Like, definitely something a little more Western. Either way, the hit detection on those are a little bit on the beefy side. Oh, thank you for that subscription. I see that my notification box did not want to work. That is real good. Hello, Mark. How is it going? You saw it, but it was silent. Well, that's weird. Huh. I've been having a little bit of... I feel like I've been having issues in general with the notification thing through Streamlabs lately. And it's just not making a good connection. Your stream went pretty well. I am glad to hear that. Okay, there's nothing going on out here. We gotta go the other way. Don't accidentally go through the door that makes you go backwards. Oh. Oh no, we're already up here. We don't actually have to keep climbing the mountain. I thought there was more to it because, again, it's Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji is really tall. Who would have known that it was this easy to climb Mount Fuji? I sure wouldn't have. Alright, buddy, what do you got? Really, you're impressed that I made it this far? What are you doing up here, buddy? train to become the greatest worker in Japan. Well, if you say so. Do you have a good pipe? Attaches to the block with the star. Well, my sound bites are working, so there's something. JJ had noticed the sound command list. Yeah, I threw in a few because I was just like, let's try this out. If I decide I don't like them, at some point they will get removed. You know, this is sort of an experiment thing, and also, goodness knows that I will throw some stuff from X7 on there because that game is hilarious and awful. Anyway, no fall damage.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, now I have to figure out how to get back where I came from. What is a sense of direction? I don't know. Let's also try not to get hit in the... Yeah, exactly. You ain't wrong, Layers. I'm glad you guys seem to like these, because... I put all of like 5 seconds of effort into this. Yeah, I guess that is usually a thing. I just kind of didn't think about it very much because, again, I 100% blame Twitch for this because of the addition of the channel points, and I'm going to think about the other currency as a result. But clearly, I need to plan these things out further. If only I knew how to plan things. And yes, I'm doing absolutely the foolish idea here and using my not quite hook shot for this. Thank you for the subscription, Gloria. That is very kind of you. And I guess sorry about no Gutsman music that time. Da-da! It is normally supposed to make the It's Gutsman theme. I just need to... I guess I have to do something with Streamlabs or change the volume on the sounder for that or something. Well, that's okay. Thank you nonetheless. Thank you, Lears. Thank you. Gutsman's ass is silent and deadly tonight. Absolutely. Maybe it's the beard talking, but he's got a butt that just won't quit. Wait. I think that's a good one. I'm gonna have to actually remember to put that on the VOD when I post it on YouTube. Well, thank you very much for all of that. I appreciate it very, very kindly. This game, this is one that I remember renting a lot when I was a kid. Which, you know, thank goodness that they actually did do memory card saves on this one. I kind of feel a little bit like you should have cartridge saves if you're using a cartridge game. But it's a good thing that it did have the memory card saves, because then if you're renting it a bunch, well, you don't have to be like, oh, crap, am I going to be getting this back and it's not going to have my save file on it anymore? So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this when I was a kid. I played it again recently for what is the first time in over 20 years. And, you know, that sort of, well, I was a little bit like, I'm surprised that don't want to sound too mean here, but, well, we got a save point here. When you're ready, press the A button. To cancel, press the B button. Why would we cancel? Basically, I think the end results were not quite as good as I remember them being when I was a kid, but, you know, it's still fun. And a lot of that really is just that N64 3D platformers in general have not aged terribly well. It's like you're saying, oh no, this bottle of milk from my childhood doesn't taste as good as it did. Well, of course not. Milk doesn't have that long of a shelf life. Thank you, Lears. Oh, crap. I just constantly think about Handsome Pete, almost. Yeah, exactly. Also, this is a place where I believe we actually do have to do a jump. No, I've definitely done this from a standing position with this grapple, but we gotta get pretty close, and you can tell that the hitbox on the head of our grapple Kiseru is absolutely not forgiving at all. So I actually do genuinely prefer to jump and do our little jumping grapple here, even though it is generally hard as fuck. Some Pete. And we got our first silver key. So, unlike dungeons in, say, Zelda, there are multiple tiers of keys that will only work on certain locks in each dungeon, which is a bit of a strange idea, but if it works, it works. You know, I'm not going to complain about it too much. These dungeons are quite straightforward, but honestly, you know, if what they're going for is very much in the vein of a certain other video game series, as it were, and I kind of think that is the case, well, that's fine, because once you get past, like, the first couple of games in that series, the dungeons are pretty straightforward in that, too, so, hey, not gonna complain. And yeah, I did ignore a thing over there, but we will fix that in a moment. Let me try just using the actual melee weapon to hit things, because you can see that, especially once you get a combo going, you've got a much wider hitting arc there. Anyway, that door, you might not have been able to see it too well because of resolution and all that, but as you can tell, it is locked. We need a silver key in order to open it. And we've got these lumps of rock that I think are supposed to look a little bit turtle shell-ish, but because of that tiny little notch in the back, it just kind of makes me think horseshoe crab instead. And you know, horseshoe crabs are pretty cool, so fair enough. And we get Mr. Elephant. There is our map. Yeah, that's true. I am having this moment of, wait a second, were there any games in Ganbare Goemon after the N64/PS1 era? Certainly they were not localized. Because on top of everything else, understanding, you know, on top of everything else, there's the cultural thing that these are very, very different and a little hard to translate sometimes for the English-speaking audience. That said, we've got one of these things to pick up. And I am really bad at making that jump, apparently. Maybe I should wait until the camera turns around. That said, also, like, wasn't the SNES Goemon game way different, and a lot of the ones in the arcade and everything? Ninjas! Hi, Jack. How's it going? I heard you won that FF6 randomizer tournament. That sounds pretty great. I hope you're having a good day. I'm doing pretty good. You were saying something like, that's the first time I've ever won something. And yeah, definitely your first speedrun tournament win, right? So that is pretty great. It's good to see, because you were always hitting those real hard. You were getting into that second place very easily, but you just were not getting the break. And you deserve it after a time, buddy. And we got enemies here that are carrying big old bouquets of flowers, and they take 2 hits instead of 1. They get knocked over between each hit. So they're not too hard. And yet, saying that, I still took a really easy hit in that fight. But there's our silver key, so we can advance deeper into the dungeon. Castle. I'm just gonna call it a dungeon, because goodness knows, I just use video game parlance for everything. I had this moment of realization, because I'm writing a script for a video about one of the Mega Man Battle Network games, and thinking about the fact that calling dungeons in that game dungeons seems a little bit weird, because they are extremely not physical locations. They have real-world equivalents in that, but they're not actually taking place in the real world. There's some pretty cool games. I will probably be playing one at some point on stream in an indeterminate time in the future, because, well, my usual streaming schedule. Also, yeah, this is a room where we basically got the killer tiles, but they're not really tiles per se. You whack a couple of them, you get the key. This threw me off pretty badly for a while. Back to what I was trying to say. Tatsumi mats, there you go. Thank you, Lears. You probably know a little more about this kind of stuff than I do, because I am forgetful. I forgot what I was going to say, but, you know, you get it. So, back to what I was saying. Because my schedule is set out with, like, a certain way that I do my big RPG stuff on Mondays. And the RPG that I'm currently playing on Mondays is long as fuck. In fact, we're, like, maybe just about halfway done with it. It'll probably be a while before I start running a Battle Network game, but that will absolutely show up in the future. So, you know, if you're interested in that, stick around until sometime like 2027, and we'll be on the road to something or other there. Again, I forgot what I was going to say. The RPG that I'm playing right now on Mondays is Jade Cocoon 2 for the PlayStation 2. The sequel to, well, the sequel to the original Jade Cocoon for the PlayStation 1, which is, I hesitate to say that it's super obscure. It was something that was vaguely known about in the late 90s, on the back of Studio Ghibli character designs and the monster raising-ish aspects. And that, of course, being an era when monster raising type of RPGs were very much a big deal for reasons that I probably don't have to explain to nobody. Those little blue jumping enemies are a little bit weird in terms of their arc, so yeah, excuse me if I absolutely goof it here for a little bit. As far as if 2 is faster than 1, I would probably say no. I haven't played the first one or seen anything from it in a very long time, so yeah. One thing that I can definitely say about JC2 is that a lot of the attack animations, especially for magic, are pretty damn long. So that's something that there's not much you can do about, and there's a lot of sitting around once you get to the later tiers. Dragon Warrior 5. Thank you, Jack. Actually, wasn't it? I thought it was 6 that was the Dragon Warrior game, or I suppose Dragon Quest in that case, because those ones didn't get released in the US. I think that was the first one that had the monster raising stuff with 6, wasn't it? Maybe it was 5. I admit that that's not an area of expertise. And I remember playing a little bit of 6 when I was very young, like maybe 11. And honestly, for reasons that are not surprising, I couldn't make a whole lot of sense out of it, i.e. I did not speak Japanese, and at the time I could not find a translation patch. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for correcting me on that one. So yeah, my experience with Dragon Quest in the SNES era is very limited. And is one that was kind of full of confusion. Oh wow, I'm surprised I remembered that the key was up here. Oh, don't crush me. We got the crushers here. The Wesley crushers, as it were. We'll check out the locked door in a second. Usually it's a good idea to investigate the side paths first. Although eventually, these castles are going to get a lot less linear. And check that out. We got 4 of our not at all pieces of heart. And we have gained our 6th heart container. We start with 5 for anybody who missed that part of the stream. Always gotta, you know, account for as much of your audience as possible, right? And yeah, here's another place where you can really see things that are 2D objects being involved in a 3D game. However, I think the scaling and the movement on these spike rotators, which, yeah, I spent a little too much time goofing off with those. I think those are actually pretty good for the N64 era. Certainly, it's not like where you're climbing a pole in Donkey Kong 64 and the bananas suddenly lose all depth, really. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, that there's a lot of it on the N64. It tends to stand out more nowadays, but it's usually not too terrible. Especially if the sprite work, like, really fits the bill well. Like, in Mario 64, for example, which is one that we've brought up before, the coins are 2D objects, but they fit in with the world because the sprites just, well, they just look right for it. You wouldn't suspect a thing if you didn't know. Unfortunately, I've just gone and told everybody, so that's fucked that up forever. Also, another neat thing that you might have just barely caught notice of. Oh, that was silly. I thought that would actually stop me. It did not. Okay, so back to what I was about to say. The music in the dungeons does actually change very subtly between certain layers of depth, which is very nice. That is something that's done pretty well. This was an era where we started really getting a lot of, like, variable mix type of musical stuff in for example, these dungeons, the Hyrule Field in Legend of Zelda. Most notably for me is always going to be Phantasy Star Online, because I played a lot of that for reasons that are perhaps understandable, that it's not really the type of game that you play only a little of. And that had a lot of that, and had a really good soundtrack in general. So, this was a time when we were starting to get a lot of that in games, and that's pretty cool too. So as much as I bag on this era, I have a genuine affection for it. And there was a lot of moving forward that was really cool to see and experience with your other senses as well. Oh, we got a couple of ninjas who are gonna throw some throwing stars at us, some shuriken. They're not like the Kirby 64 shuriken where they explode. N64 had some good games. 95% of them were made by Rare. You are absolutely correct, my friend. That is the thing, is that Rare was definitely the ones that ruled the roost in terms of N64 dev. They brought us some good stuff. One of these days, I need to remember to do a playthrough of Banjo-Kazooie, which is something else that I tried to start like 2 years ago. But I was doing it on an actual console, and my N64 overheated because I just had it like right on the rug, and I guess all of the venting surface of the thing is literally just on the bottom, so it was probably getting a little bit clogged up by my carpet. That was not smart. However, it did not kill my console, so I guess it's okay in the, you know, when all is told. Best of the 3D collectathons, that I would agree with Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie, I think, was overall probably the one that was the most measured in terms of that sort of stuff, too. And, yeah, this room is one that I'm not very good at. And the others have their moments, and there's some pretty great stuff in there to get. Like, there's definitely some things that I do enjoy about DK64, but wow, that is a very padded game. Glorified tech demo. Not entirely wrong, I guess. There's definitely... It is well glorified, but yeah, glorified tech demo is kind of correct. And yeah, there's some pretty great stuff in there for sure. Baron. I mean, that's a simple string of letters that could be arranged in any kind of name here. Come to make Oedo Castle a beautiful stage. Well, you're gonna have to clean up those spike things. Nobody in town is a good actor we've seen before. Major. I mean, yeah, there's some lasers been involved. Grab this weirdo by the throat. I gotta talk for a second. Things are gonna get a little bit on the political side here. This is one of the big things that I know about this game's localization, that, as I say, this game has aged poorly. When these characters are calling this guy a weirdo, especially in this cutscene, possibly later in the game, the original word used in the Japanese script is okama, which is, let me think of a very, I've even forgotten the word that I wanted to use here. Let me think of a diplomatic way. There we go. A diplomatic way to put it. It's a word that Trihex got banned for a lot of the time. They're, what they're saying here is extremely politically incorrect. So, yeah, that will probably take the wind out of some people's sails a little bit. As I've said, I have some real complaints about this game, and that is one of them. I still think that, you know, if you took all the dialogue and stuff out of the game, it would still be a pretty playable 3D platformer with a little bit of jank here and there. Well, a lot of jank, really. But yeah, that is not super great. We'll put it that way. But let's just move on from here and let's continue to our boss. We get another of these not quite pieces of heart here. And we get thrown into a boss. A very easy boss with a big creepy skull. Well, skull is not correct. The King Robot Congo. This is your Your first boss, and it's pretty easy. Just whack it in the chin a bunch. That is... Yes, Jackamus, that is correct. So, here we go. We get some lasers shooting us in a circle. And I'm not always good with these A button presses, but it looked like we actually got like pushed off the ground a little bit by the laser gun. Yeah, Japan is definitely not always good about that kind of thing. I feel there's been some effort to move forward in those regards culturally over the last couple of years. But certainly, let me put it this way, I would not particularly want to live in Japan in the 90s. It doesn't help that I barely speak Japanese and pretty much have gleaned what little that I have off of talking to various people about various things. It's also reminiscent of... There was a thing going around many years ago about... It was an interview from one of the people who created Metroid, and saying that the translation had suggested that Samus was a trans woman, but the actual term used, according to a couple of people that I'd heard from, was, again, far less polite. We'll put it that way. It was a very crude joke. And a lot of people were taking it as very much like, oh, look at this good trans representation, because they had picked up a direct translation of, well, air quotes, direct translation of this interview. This is from a while ago, and probably didn't really get a whole lot of purchase in a lot of circles of the internet, so, you know, that's entirely fair if you haven't heard it. I'd have to actually go dig it out, too, if that was something we were going to discuss. As it stands, let's just say that, you know, the Metroid games are really cool, and that's about it. And this boss was disgustingly easy, and I'm surprised I got hit, but at least I didn't get hit by the fire. We get the Miracle Moon in the shape of the moon, as you would expect it to be. And no, I don't have that Master Belch command working, so... Sincere apologies to JJ and the other people. Yeah, Other M has issues, but that's a bit of an outlier. And I suppose that in some way that speaks to one of the great things about Metroid being that most of its storytelling is environmental. And here we go, we get some plot. The castle got lasered. It transformed into... Well, whoever is piloting that ship has a weird idea of what a stage is, apparently, so... You know. A favor, and that is a very out-of-place instance of some non-US English spelling there. I am using a US ROM for this, so that's a little strange. Yeah, absolutely, we'll probably run into them anyway, let's be honest. Alright, so what are you gonna give me? A crowbar? No, it appears to be the Super Pass. It's a bus ticket. Alright. We want to save the game? Yeah, of course we do. You know, it's not like we're speedrunning or something. And if we were, we would have reset a long time ago. And probably not had a place to fit in that earlier speech. And, you know, if... you know how it goes. Playing these games casually means that we can talk about stuff. Still in the water. I forgot there was a crack there. It's okay. It's not like we need to platform back if we don't want to. We can just go and follow the waterway. Pop back out. Over here. Actually, we can swim around the whole rest of town. I mean, it's slow going, but again, we're not speedrunning. I forgot this was over here, so that's nice to do. Some very blue water, by the way. Oh, we have to actually jump onto the bridge. Yeah, he sure does, doesn't he? And not Goku. I guess you got a point, because all the spiky hair there. What you guys got for us? It sure is. Oh, so are you guys not opening the gate? It just... We have to stick it into the thing. We gotta do some lockpicking with the super pass. Well. Alright, so here we are at the shoreline. We get a little bit of slowdown because this area is a pretty large map. There's not a whole lot of like motion going on, although I guess, you know, there is a lot of water texture, so that's gonna be animated, but I seem to recall that actually being like noticeably worse than the N64, so listen to you, Jack. And just a tunnel, just labeled tunnel. Thank you. Thank you, game. I could not have guessed that it was a tunnel without you. You do get that little bit of echoing effect. I always find kind of cute about games in this era. Alright, so it's time to climb more mountainside here. Or this slightly vertical platforming for our world area. There's a lot of ups and downs. It's not just flat. That's pretty good though. That's nice. Coins. Ooh, full heal. That's good. I mean, I had 4 hearts still, so I was sitting pretty, but I like being at full health in games like this. Like, oh, it's weird, because when I'm missing, like, a tiny amount of health, I'm like, oh, this sucks, and then I go to, like, nothing, and it's just like, yeah, I don't care anymore. Ooh, there's our cutscene. Look at that thing on the top of that building. It's... well... I guess if the building is going to crumble straight downward, it'll stay there for a little while. Anyway, it's some kind of frog thing with a Cutman doodad on its head. Oh no, who could have done something so sinister? It seems between the path and the grass texture is tilting you. Yeah, that is extremely understandable because, yeah, N64 graphics have not aged well. Oh, what's this big old conch shell? See this? The Triton shell that summons gigantic robot Impact. Is that the same Impact we heard about earlier? All that remains of Wise Man's house? Hey, man! What a greeting. He has no aim whatsoever. You got a robot, huh? Ooh, this sounds interesting. Do I want to save the game to this point? Yes, and I'm going to mute the microphone for a brief moment here because we're about to get another song.
Get a load of this!
How cool is this? This is just great. Also, now we get to just slide into stuff, beat up other robots with our gigantic pipe. It gets even better pretty soon, don't worry. Oh yeah, that jump has a gigantic wind-up, by the way. This is so great. There is a big reason why I still really love this game, even though, as I've mentioned, I have feelings in this area. Get this big robot. This cool ass song. There is a really great arrangement of the Impact song by the 8-Bit Big Band out there, which is absolutely something that I will probably just link at the end of the stream because I really love it. And I'm sure that anybody who knows me at this point knows I love my giant mecha shit just in general, so yeah. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Things are about to get interesting because we get an Impact boss battle too. And I'm really bad at these. The wartime kabuki robot Kashiwagi. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Have I ever played Xenogears? I have not. That is one that I do want to play at some point. Alright, so the Z button, you shoot your superheated coins. B button for your short punches. And A button for your big punch. Usually you want to set up a combo where you do your little punch and then your little punch a couple of times and then the big punch. You want to counter his force palm with your big punch. With your A button. L button doesn't do anything. But R button lets us do the chain grapple thing. Hitting this guy while he's on the move is possible, but very hard, I believe. Okay. Get up. Yeah, and sometimes he'll just shield your big attacks. And yeah, the health meter down there is the oil number in your right-hand corner. His health meter is up at the top. Oh yeah, definitely. Also, yes, if you if you do certain combos, you'll get you'll pull out the boot and you'll just do that, which is also pretty great. Alright, so this guy should be going into rage mode at some point soon. Maybe a little further on. Yeah, if you miss, there is a huge bit of time you gotta wait for your chain pipe to retract, but that's okay. You can see we're doing pretty good against this boss. The health isn't too much to worry about. And I actually think that he's like using actual attack models for the regular stuff. Alright, so while he's doing pedal dance at us, we just gotta punch the illusion whenever it zooms in to hit us. So you gotta track it. Oh! That's a lot of hang time we got there. It's actually making my thumb ache a little bit. I got it. Alright, he's going into this again. I gotta imagine that if this is a game that has like an actual speed run to it, that this is a thing you just have to get absolutely right because of how much time his illusion attack spends. And yeah, we're taking a lot of risks with our health here. We're cutting it a little bit close. Alright, reel you in. Oh, he's down to 10. Two more good coin hits while he's not guarding. Ah, crud. I don't know if we can grapple during this. Yeah, that's probably true too. Oh, I forgot you can't coin him while he's gonna do the force palm, but we got him. That's not bad for me in terms of performance. I think the last few times that I've done this, it usually took me like 2 tries at least to do any of these fights. They are not a thing that I'm great at, but my goodness, are they cool. This is definitely a game of, you know, a lot going on. Yeah! Filming a movie, yeah, we heard about that. To get to America. I mean, I definitely think the Americans really do love their giant robots too, and it's just not a thing that we've really tried to replicate very much, which is probably alright. I'm just kind of thinking that, like, in the wake of things like that Netflix live-action Death Note movie, I'm surprised we haven't hit a point of, like, Americans trying to do Gundam or anything like that. Maybe there would just be, like, a licensing issue with that, because, of course, Gundam has a lot of themes that I don't think would necessarily track over very well with a lot of American film companies, basically. Hello, Mercenary X305X. How's it going, Merc? This is a game This is one that was a reasonable part of my childhood. And I finally have a method of playing it properly, so that's why we're bringing it out on stream. And hey, look, we're getting a new party member. Yeah, I'm not here necessarily to talk about, like, quality or anything like that. Just that I'm kind of surprised that it didn't happen, you know? Oh, and I see our elephant is a narrator. Well, there's our ninja, I suppose. Not sure how mystical she is at the moment. Found out there are several members who call themselves the Peach Mountain Shoguns. Ah, yes. They're here to make a Chrono Trigger hack. Somebody should warn them about Square Enix's legal team being a little touchy. Peach Mountain or Chestnut Mountain, or even a Pear Mountain. That seems to fall a little bit flat, but I suspect that it's more like rhyming or they sound similar in Japanese, but I, again, do not know for sure. Oh, I would love to see this game get a little bit, you know, a remake would be pretty nice. As I said before, a big thing that this would really need is better handling of the camera, because having the game do it just by itself is not exactly satisfactory. At least not in 1998. In 2021, maybe it would work fine. I guess we'd have to see. Zazen town of Yamashiro. Very old and historical town. Wonder where Yoshi went. He's off committing tax fraud. Kids with dancing talent have been kidnapped in the Shikoku region. That's something we should try to remember, but we will not. Yeah, I'm not saying it's unique to this game by any means, because goodness gracious, N64 camera, woo! Woo! Benkei is sitting on Gojo Ohashi Bridge, not allowing anyone to get through. Aw, my 2-star Lancer. He's still trying to be... Once he's taken everything and added to his collection. Gotcha. Alright, well this dude's not an actual thief. He'll talk to us, but... I'm having a bad time doing that. Children being kidnapped. We've heard about that. What you got for us? Little signage. Corridor shopping district. Oh boy, it's been a while since I've looked at any of the old GTAs. I imagine those have not aged too well. And this is going to be where we got to go later on. I wonder if someone out there like has been able to patch any of that stuff, because I feel like that would still be a thing that would have a pretty big fan community. And any PC game with a good fan community, you'll get somebody who does stuff like that. I mean, look at how much stuff there is to fix games like Vampire the Masquerade and Fallout New Vegas and stuff like that. There were PC versions of both GTA 3 and Vice City, right? Oh, geez. Yeah, that's kind of the worst. So, let's take a quick look at what we've got going on here. We've got this very... Well, first of all, we've got something described as a sombrero. There is a different term for this, but I like the idea of Goemon in just like an actual sombrero. You know, just out there really advertising the taco sales in this country, I guess. And we got a metal helmet. This is a very, very heavily chromed looking Kabuto here, and we've got some nice chunky looking metal armor. If we try to buy these, I believe old General Store Man will tell us here. Defend yourself by resisting 3 shots from the enemy. So helmets will just straight up block a certain number of those little silver ball bullets that we've seen getting shot at us occasionally. So these are pretty nice for a couple of places. And by no means are they necessary, because they're consumables. This body armor will defend us against 5 actual just collision hits, or I suppose probably some other shots. So that's... yeah, there's like actually a decent amount of item depth to this. Like, again, not to keep bringing up the Zelda games, but not to that level. But on the other hand, you know, compared to a lot of other 3D platformers. Alright, so here's the inn. We're not going to spend the night. We have full health. But why don't we take a quick save? Because why not? We may as well show that we can or something. Alright. And in here, what else have we got going on around town? You're selling the health items, right? Got some plain rice balls and some plum rice balls. Covers your strength to 4 points whenever it reaches 0, so we got sort of our fairy in a bottle almost, in a way. But they end up down in that little item window at the bottom of our screen. 10 health points is probably a little more than we need at this moment, but cool that stuff's there. And a 4 health revive is a pretty decent price. I haven't brought it up before, but yes, we do have lives to concern ourselves with. The odds of us losing all of them are pretty low. Like, doing a run of this where you take no hits would be very hard, but we get enough health that we're pretty chunky most of the time. Sure good things will happen? Well, I mean, we don't necessarily need that much of a motivator other than, hey, let's get some more dialogue in here. And so in here we got the bath area, right? And we've got one of these things. Scaring deer. I believe that actually is what it is used for in real life. Oh! I forgot, if you whack it enough, it drops one of those out. I'm gonna give it another couple of quick bonks. It's got nothing. Just had to double check in case there was more. Maybe somebody will show up and be like, hey, quit making all that racket. You damn kids. Or something. Although, I mean, we're definitely not looking at the youngest party here, that's for sure. There are guys using gigantic robots to attack towns and villages. No, but we can control a giant robot of our own, that's for sure. Alright, so we got some food items here at the restaurant. These are just gonna be... you can tell they're a lot cheaper, and that's because they just heal us instantly. 2 health for 15. 3 health for 25. 45. This is gonna be like... well, hopefully it's not 4, because that's a bit of a ripoff. Yeah, 5. That is still not the most commensurate, but... yeah. I want to talk to the other NPC. Oh. They just both ask you for what you are ordering, and we can't get up here to talk to these folks. They probably wouldn't like that anyway. And yeah, here's our fortune teller. Once again, I will be holding off on showing off the Plasma Man until we have to go talk to him. Just because we do have to, so, you know, why not wait? Oh, hey kid. I can't stand on this shrub very well. That's the spirit, kid. Straight ahead to the Chugoku region. I don't think we can actually go over here, like, at all at this point. Where it leads to Bizan, near the Chugoku region. West of here. Did something to the door so that it wouldn't open. Yeah, see, we can't use this door at all. Because that is way further in the game. Golden Temple entrance. Let's have a quick look at this. And find out what is the deal. And it doesn't look that golden. A song and autograph section. Well, actually, looking at that texture, that's pretty gold for this era. Is there anything hanging out over here? We gotta come back to here a little later, but I want to make sure if there's, like, nothing that I'm missing here. Yeah, see, it looks like there's a door, but you can't actually go inside of it because it is part of an event. Nyoigatake. I pronounced that really badly. This is gonna tell us about, yeah. Tell us about our little walkway up to it, and we can have a look at something that we will not be able to deal with until pretty deep into the game. You can see that burning symbol and that moving platform and the dude up there, but we cannot jump up here, not with anybody we have right now. So we are going to come back to this way later in the game. Like, right before the final dungeon, pretty much. What do you got to say to us? Sir, you were going in a completely different direction. And yeah, so this sign, this is just going to take us back in the direction we were at earlier, right? Oh, this is not going to tell us here. Waits at the bridge and the lookout for rare treasures carried by people. Well, hopefully he doesn't want to steal my chain pipe. I need that. That thing is too useful. But here we are at the creek. The upper reaches of Duck Creek. Go down the creek, you'll reach midstream. A little further is downstream. Let's be up the creek without a paddle. That's a good joke. Unfortunately, they're not allowed to call it Shit Creek in a Nintendo game in the late 90s. So why don't we take us a nice leisurely stroll, because we're gonna see a bunch of this area anyway pretty soon. We may as well get used to it, I guess, even though it's pretty much just a straight path that occasionally turns. Ushiwaka Maru over here, I suppose. There's fish in the creek. Haven't caught any. As I believe I've alluded to before, I believe every character in this game, in terms of the major characters who are not the villains, are all characters from various Japanese stories and, you know, semi-historical, or based on them anyway. Like, here's Benkei. Benkei is an actual person from Japanese history, I believe. Not a complete treasure maniac, but still. I'll take a different route, buddy. You coward! thanks. I know I'm a coward, but come on. And is there anything else going on in the other areas of the creek here? Well, this looks like... Yeah, this is where the entrance to Chugoku is locked, so we can't do anything up there even if we were to get on the upper layer. Alas. Let us make our way back to... Well, I forget what exactly is supposed to be the obvious inroad that you're supposed to do what I'm about to do. Once I get myself over there. Oh, I went too far. But once we get there, I'll explain. Don't worry. Well, it'll speak for itself mostly. Wrong channel, Jack. Alright, so here we go. We gotta talk to Pink Shirt again. If the game feels like letting me. You know Benkei? It's like a follower to you, huh? Wait a sec. Yeah, we're trying to get past the bridge. Well, because the game wouldn't let us. Otherwise, we probably would have said something. Do you favor... Oh, so I guess favor is just spelled in UK English, or non-US English, rather. Just throughout the entire game, I did not realize that. That's a lot of mutoid mans. Mutoid men? Alright, catch some fish. 3 blue fish. Well, goodness, I hope you're not colorblind if you're playing this game, basically. We've come a long way. Babby. Mutoid dudes! Yeah, that works for me. Well, there we go. 3 blue fish, and you can see that there's some red and some yellow fish, and we are definitely going to have to catch some of those. So in order to proceed, enjoy your fetch quest. Thankfully, it's reasonably short. 5 yellow fish. Alright, well there's one here. Hooray! Question mark? Clearly that needs to be in the repertoire at some point when I remember. Oh, that thing just slipped away from us. And you can see, again, this is a case of we've got sprites moving around in the 3D world, and they get a little bit too thin in some places. You know, I can expect there being a fairly flat fish, but some of those definitely looked a little bit like they squashed a little bit. Kind of like what I was saying before about DK64 and the bananas when you're going up and down on a pole or something. Which is most noticeable in Frantic Factory. Where you can just see, oh, they're just 2D sprites, and there's not a whole lot of handling for seeing them at different angles. Alright, so after this, 8 redfish. Alright. That's a lot of redfish, but... Okay, so if you pick up the other color fish, it doesn't screw anything up. Okay. I was making sure. I did not know that. That should be 4 red. I said 4 once we pick up that, yeah. 4 red fish. One more should do it for us. There we go. There's our 8 red fish. Not to be confused with our 8 red coins. And let's get back to Pink Shirt and find out what we can do about our blocking fella there. All right, you did it. Yep. What do you got for us? A log. Received an Achilles heel. All right. I don't know that it's going to be as impressive as all that, but if you insist that this log will help us. Well, you know what they say. What rolls downstairs, alone or in pairs, rolls over your neighbor's dog. Well, sir, I was hoping to give you this log and you'd let us pass. If we lose, he'll blast us far, far away. Look for the instant he reaches the ground when jumping, and throw the Achilles heel at him 3 times within the time limit. Throw it with the B button. Let's go. The timing gets a little bit wonkier each time, basically. And you actually don't want to do it as soon as he hits the ground, and... yeah, the 3rd time, he attempts to break it with his pointy stick. That I forgot the name of. It's not just a spear, there's other kinds of pointy sticks. Ever since Achilles' heel was thrown at Benkei, Achilles' heel was meant to be the weak point of someone. There's something fishy about that story. When this game is funny, it's really damn funny, okay? Don't tell anyone that he lost. Well, alright. What do you got for us, Chief? Oh, that's very well modeled. That's a lot of polygons. It's our friend Sasuke. Stiff with batteries almost falling out. The mechanical ninja Sasuke. Yeah, so we got a surprising amount of ninjas in our party, I guess. Came falling from the sky just the other day. Explosion at the wise man's house. So I guess if our buddy Sasuke was hanging out over there, he probably got blown away. The other day, that's that seems a lot longer than it's taken in game. Unfortunately, we do not have our 4th party member just yet, because we need to get that fellow working. And out this way we go. This is another part of the game where I feel like guidance becomes a little bit on the dicey side, and it's just like, hey, you do things until you get there, why don't you? So over here, let's check out this sign. It says it's a shrine. Door is closed with magical powers. So we don't have a whole lot of a way to get in there. So I guess we just have to go into this forest instead. The bamboo forest here in Yamato. Yeah, that's definitely a bamboo forest, isn't it? Hard to argue with that one. And you can see we've got a different flying enemy now that paths a fair bit differently. And this will take us in a little bit deeper, I think. Oh, this is not quite the way that I was expecting to go yet. That is where we need to go, but we're going to get there a different way. Also, let me show off our newest party member real quick here. She's got a katana. Or, well, a very short katana. I guess it's not really the game calls it a katana, but, you know, clearly that's more of like a big sword, so... You know, the term that I would use for something as small as what she's using, I think, is more of a wakizashi. Whatever. Either way, she can't do a whole lot special for a fair period of time, so we're not going to see her very much. For now. I swear eventually everybody else is going to start getting items that will make them have actual differences between them. But that is going to take a little bit to get to. This is where I wanted to go to. The Turtle Stone. Because we get to this thing and we move it around and we'll, you know, a couple of different things will happen to us. A magical red gate shall take you to a new land. South, the lucky cat will drop into your lap. So we'll go over here and, yes, I'd like to do that properly. Alright, let me get the, let's get our cat here. Nice. And it's full heal. Alright, so we push this back to the center. And it stops a little bit. North. The key to the closed out Yamato shrine is... Well, maybe it'll tell us. West. Money makes the world go round. Eventually it'll come around to you too. Well, let's see if you got some coins for us. Oh yes, and we get some lag too. Most excellent. Alright, so there's our this stuff. Push please. Yeah, this is definitely super jank. Because it's literally just walking into the thing at the right angles for it to move. Alright, so we want to go north. After this. Alright, turn the camera, please. Alright, see, I've had a couple of instances of, like, starting to push it. There we go. Yeah, that was starting to throw me off. I think because it's a slightly awkwardly shaped object, too, it's probably a little bit less nice. Also, this doesn't lock to any sort of grid or anything, so... Yeah, we were just barely a little too far over. But this will open up that shrine, and we can climb around in here and get a couple of things. Also hear this particular musical theme. This, I feel, is something that you're intended to get later on, but it's something we can do now. We can climb in here and we can find a couple of upgrades. I think there's more than one anyway. Alright, so first of all, there's one of these. A surprise pack. And we gained a life. Hooray, we got a life. Oh, I would kill for a first-person perspective right now so I could see where the other stuff is in here, because there is, at the very least, a lucky cat that we can pick up. Unfortunately, with no first-person view mode, it's a little hard to see. Oh, there it is. Got it. Hooray! And that is all we've got in here for the moment. We do not get warped back out to the Turtle Stone. We have to go walk back there. But we are going to use that to go to the Awaji Island location that we saw earlier. I hope there wasn't a weird glitch there for anything with that. There we go. Alright, so this way we want to move the stone. Oh yeah, I'm tabbed out the emulator. There we go. That's better. Yeah. Okay. This way. Keep shoving this rock over. Whoop. Here we are. Take the red gate. And we're on a boat. Motherfuckers. Yeah, I'm on a boat. Okay, there we go. There's a landmass like right next to here. At the husband and wife rocks. It's a very large bit of rope here, and we're still being bombarded by the weird jaw face things. There's a lot of these around here. Wow. Wow. Neat. 2 more to gain a health upgrade. And this just takes us right back here, so go back across the water. Check out the main area here. See what is going on. North is Yamato, to the west is Shikoku. Well, we heard some mention that there was some shit going on in Shikoku, so we need to probably head over that way. But first, let's take a quick check-in here at this coffee shop, right? Yeah, okay. What's everyone up to? Why not rabbit stones? Well, that would be a little more unusual to form, I suppose. Instantly transfer you to a faraway place. Oh dear, indeed. I don't know if you're allowed to say that in a game like this. What do you got for us? 30 Rio. Yeah, duly noted. Thanks, guys. Not much going on around here. Except for a thing that we've already done. So I guess that's where you find out about this information, right? And you then apply that. Okay, yeah, so that's back in the bamboo forest. That is not the direction we wish to go. We want to go the other way. I was listening to this seaside ambiance. I almost said aquatic ambiance. That is not technically true. That is a reference to Donkey Kong Country. A game I'm not good at. Going on over... Okay, yeah, there's still more to explore in this area, too, I believe, because we can just go up here, right? Yeah. Alright, what's going on in here? Tourist center. Oh, this was mentioned to us already. Excuse me. Carry you to Shikoku at once on our proud dragon. What you would like to say, suddenly gone wild and cannot carry you now. None of my business. Good. Paying attention to your writing there. Alright. So, this is the next thing we've got to do. I thought we had to move into the next region to start, but I was incorrect. And this is a part where I could conceivably get my ass handed to me pretty badly. It is very easy to fall off of this big dragon guy. I mean, it doesn't look like it now. It's like, oh, it's a straight path. Sure, it's wiggling a bit, but, you know, you know how to video games. You can control this. Well, first of all, we're seeing that our flying enemies here are acting really funky. And second of all, we're going to see at some point that this dragon is just going to start tilting all over the place. In fact, we're seeing a bit of it now already. Usually I get a lot more thrashing than this, but we're gonna... We got a little mini boss at the end of this section, so things might change here. Oh, that sure is a thing. Kids with dancing... The mighty colon. It may be meant to be pronounced more like Colin, but, you know. The mighty large intestine. The clowns. You see squeaky noses on these nerds. Alright, so we got this thing. It's going to spin around for a bit. While it's glowing yellow, it is immune to damage. And yeah, we can see that the dragon is going to start doing a little bit more of this. And let's try not to get hit in the face with any of the silver marbles. Well, getting hit in the back is not particularly good either. And yeah, you can see that in certain positions there, we were definitely like jumping around the screen. It was not super great. This, I think, takes like 5 hits or something. Yeah, see, there you go. If you get hit, you can very easily just get knocked off entirely because of the terrible footing you have. So if we're going to lose lives at any point in this game, it's pretty much going to be here and like maybe one or two other places. Especially because I don't remember if the impact boss fights cost you lives or not if you fail. Also, yeah, you'll notice that we aren't getting any health out of these things, which is unfortunate. But we pretty much do have to stop to deal with them because otherwise they hit us. Maybe melee attacks are more effective, I don't know for sure. No, it looks like sticking to the chain is going to probably be our best bets. That way we have the most time in order to help us dodge those bullets, because if we have to reset this area again, we are pretty much guaranteed to be losing a life there. And yeah, you can't quite see, I guess, but this thing's health does reset when you fall off, which is very annoying. It feels like they kind of front load the difficulty on this game, if we're being honest. 5 dead yet? No, maybe it's, well, clearly it's more than 5, and that's all I need to know at the moment. Ah, it's 6. All right. And there we go. We have somehow saved the dragon, who is going to start spinning around, and we're somehow not going to fall off immediately. Not till we get over here. Oh. I was say Ibizumaru is dead, but that's not. That's somebody else. Who doesn't have any eyes, apparently. Goryuda, apparently. Who is a... transforms into a dragon. Son of the Dragon God. Neat. Oh no. Actually, I got the perfect thing to add there. Hang on.
Oh no.
I'm not used to this sort of thing yet. Ah, relax. Yeah, see, it was outside of your jurisdiction. Come on. Remember anything? Take the children. The hot springs. Going to the Dogo Hot Springs, west of Iyo. Gotcha. And what are we getting here? Something very useful, actually. This this whistle, flute. Pardon me. This is our form of fast travel, which has a bit of a lengthy cutscene attached to it. Well, it's because you get too many items already, Ibizumaru. Also because this is another type of joke, but I digress. Yeah, we can't fast travel inside of a building, unsurprisingly. Right, later, you. And transforming and running off already. What's on this obelisk here? So this is the entrance here. We could fly back to town and see if we get a little bit more direction, but let's just explore for a bit. I remember when I last played this, I actually had to look this up, so... You know, if you're like, I don't remember this, or how are you supposed to know? Well, don't worry. It definitely appears to be a little bit on the weird side. Can I get through those rocks without taking damage in some way? Other than just going fast, I guess. Someone really doesn't want us to come through here. We got a couple of these slightly eerie looking masks on sticks that shooting bullets at us. Yep. Brief stop here. Well, what's the deal, everybody? That thing moving about the stairs? Alright, let's get our health back. We have a little bit of cash. And we have not as much health as, you know, we'd like, that's for sure. Alright, up we go even further. No need to chase that. And we're being bombarded from behind. Alright, here come some more rocks. All those were actually a little more dodgeable than the set of 3, that's for sure. Oh, spoke too soon. And here we are at the top of the mountain. There's something we can do here. I want to see if there's someone we can ask, though, before we do that. You know, just before I just jump straight to it, I guess. I don't know about that, buddy, but okay. All I can say to you. Oh. Thanks for having the complete opposite camera angles. Put 5 Rio into the offertory chest at the shrine. If you do this, you will receive help from God. Well, there you go. That's what I was looking to find out information about. Who tells you that information? And there you are. Because I remember just reading about that in an FAQ. Throw 5 coins in. The god of money. Yes, I have hereby received your Medal of Justice. Goemon receives the Medal of Flames. Oh, yes. We can charge up the coin, and it will be on fire, and we can light torches with it. However, I believe it costs more money to use. In fact, let's test it out real quick. Well, first of all, there's the fact that you generally are going to be making that initial shot. And yeah, it costs 3 coins, and it shoots a little fireball that explodes. That's pretty cool. I mean, I wish it didn't cost as much, but, you know, it's not a big deal. Here we are in Folky Polk Village. Some really downbeat sounding music here. What's going on? Famous for folk dancing, huh? Yeah, we've already handled that part. Alright, so it's another restaurant over here. We don't need to spend money on that. Oh, we've already talked to you. Alright. What do you got, buddy? It'll be fine. We're working on it. Blue Dragon. Yeah, we've met the Blue Dragon already. They're informing me about the plot that's already happened, dang it. Mom, the NPCs are telling me to play the game again, or something. They're telling me about things I've already done in the game. Can we get under these? Gotta be able to. I see a thing in there. Come on. Oh, wait, no, I know what we have to do. And we can't get that for a little bit. I forget exactly when we will be able to get it, but it won't be too long. We can probably get it tonight. Hey, you. I don't know. Can't fit one to a dungeon, so we won't be allowed to find out. Again, we're working on it. Don't you worry, buddy. Oh, now you're being a little silly. Alright, so again, we're not getting a ton of information out of this. Like, we've already handled the dragon plot. Alright, so here's an item shop. Again, metal armor. We know how that goes. We don't need any of that crap. Come on. I swear we're okay at video games. Mostly. Again, don't worry about the dragon. We've handled that. I'm gonna go to the Dogo Hot Springs of Io, west of here. Yeah, we've heard some mention of this place. It's been closed for a very long time. Well, that sounds a little bit worthy of investigation. So whenever we get over there... Yeah, and that is pretty much blatantly telling you, hey, you need the fire coin for the upcoming dungeon. Yeah, I got bad news. Alright, so you're going to... Alright, so we don't need to do that, but thank you anyway. I don't even think... Honestly, I think we can get to Awaji Island anyway just by using the dragon flute to go to the coffee shop. So that's a little unnecessary to pay money for it. Secret device is activated by lighting the torch of the red Dharma. You're saying something that sounds important. It's funny because you actually do need to know that for the upcoming dungeon. Again, friendo, we are working on it. You just have to finish exploring the rest of this village. Oh, hey, look, they've got an extra life for sale at a cost of 500. That's a little much for me. That is a little spicy. So we are going to pass for now. Where does this lead? Because that was up on top of the... Okay, so we've been over here before. Right. And let's go out the other door, I suppose. Wait, did we check in here? Oh, right, this is the inn. We may as well save, because... I think it's been a little bit since we've saved. And out here we are in area with music again. You're supposed to actually follow the path, but on the other hand, I don't feel like it. Excuse me again. What's in this pot? Is this gonna be coins? Yes. That's not a huge deal then. That looks like there should be a thing on that little outcropping over there, but there's no way we can get over there right now. Vine Bridge. Caution, cross very quietly. That might be a bit of an issue. Because you can see, we're not getting a ton of sensitivity here in terms of what we can do. And we've got these floating orbs. There's actually some stuff that you can get if you fall down through the bridge. But we'll come back for that in a bit. Because first we're going to do the rest of the stuff in this general area. Oh, that tapping is being picked up by the mic. Sorry, that's me tapping the controller against my desk. I should know better. Tapping something against your desk, the vibrations are sure to transfer all the way up to the mic stand, which is sitting on my desk. Clearly, I need like an arm and a shock mount for this thing at some point, but I keep spending money on other things. Turn left here for Dogo Hot Springs. Okay, so this is a place that was mentioned. Let's see what's the deal here. The door of the Dogo Hot Springs is closed tight, and there is a tiny little crawl area there. As we saw before, trying to do the worm, we are not going to get... Yeah, that's even a little too small for us. We're going to need something to make us even shorter somehow. But first, let's go all the way over here and get to this coffee shop. Because that'll give us a location to fast travel to. So we can talk a bit. Huge dragon, huh? Small hole. Expect only a dwarf could fit into a hole that small. Yeah? Saw a dwarf in Zazen Town. Kind of cool looking. Real mean. Huh. Oh, you've been here since... Oh no, friendo. Alright. So with that done, let's take a quick look at this ramp, and then we warp back to where we were just instructed to. Yeah, there's nothing going on over here. Alright. Stay away from the things hucking bullets, because apparently they can get up here. Sheesh. Right. Over to Zazen Town, and this cutscene takes a little bit of time to go through, so please excuse. Alright. So, to deal with this, I'm taking a moment to think through the steps to get to the next part of this, basically. Oh, right, we have to go see Benkei at the river, I think. He'll tell us some stuff, right? Much smaller Ushiwaka. Alright, so if we go back and we visit Ushiwaka, we will find out about the shrinking power. Those sweets at the Golden Temple. If you can eat 8 in a row, there's a strange power that makes you shrink. Alright, so we gotta head over to that Golden Temple and watch as Ushiwaka just drops into the creek and honestly probably has to swim upstream pretty dang hard because of being so tiny. Alright, so it should be this door, right? Golden Temple entrance? Yes. Yes. Alright. In we go. Hey, wouldn't be for you. Somebody with big nose and thread of eyes. There we go. So we switched to Bizumaru for this. Finally, somebody else is going to get to shine a little bit. Narrator, please explain. Thank you. The sweets in the cupboard at the temple will start falling from above. If you catch 8 sweets before the time is up, you will be able to use magical powers to make you shrink. However, if you're seen catching these sweets, something terrible will happen. It's not as necessary to be as stealthy as all that, but keep in mind that we only have 3 hit points, and if we get seen, that guy gets super angry at us and starts pounding the cupboard, and it drops a bunch of explosives. I don't 100% understand either, but okay. We have a very generous timer for this. It's just the getting into the stealth positions that can be a bit of a pain, and taking a hit like that because we apparently didn't come to a full and complete stop. Alright. So let's do that again, and hopefully if we're out in the open, we don't take 2 hits. Although, look at the big radius that we have in terms of being able to land that attack. That's good, at least. Although sometimes it's not always that big. Oh, we're gonna get spotted, yeah. Time to just dodge for a bit. Get in position. Ah, there it is. Good placement if we would have been in over there in the first place. Alright. Put your gigantic nose away so that way we can get back to the things that matter. You know what? I'm not even going to stealth up for this last one. That's right. I even let him see me. I ain't care. I'm just that good. Or something. I'm terrible at every video game, but hey. Hooray! Obtained mini Ibisu powers. Yay! Shrink and go through small holes and narrow roads. Remember that while using the ability, we will not be able to attack, unlike in the minigame. Look at that. Neat. And you have to basically be completely stopped in order to use it, unfortunately. But we are going to do a couple of fast travels here real quick. First of all, we are heading over to the Folky Polk village in order to go get that fortune doll that we saw. Alright, let's go through this door. I think it was over here that we need to... I have been even further in this direction. I probably should have just gone to the corner area overlooking... Yeah, here we go. And he even does the little dance at a tiny scale. That's pretty great. Alright, yeah, let's get ourselves back into fast travel mode here. Fast travel in pretty big air quotes here. Over to EO's coffee shop, and that will let us get into that tiny little hole. And now we know what we gotta go do. We gotta go...
Yep.
over this way.
Yep. 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 Where?
In we go.
Where?
And while we're back here, we can switch back into normal size, and that will help us be able to fight things here, like this slightly goofy looking thing. This ridiculous mustache. We have to be small in order to go through that, to go under that fence, which we will do in a moment. But for now, we're just gonna keep checking around this area. Make sure we don't miss anything. Oh, there's me doing things the silly way. Getting my controls. Since you can easily toggle in and out of the thing, you don't have to stay small for like any of these areas, which is really great. That is some smart design. That, however, is just us seeing through some wall textures. Neat. We're up to 8 hearts already. Get a load of that. We've been finding quite a few of those not quite heart piece items. It's like me playing an OOT randomizer. Just, hey, these things are now everywhere. I hope you really, really wanted them. And all told, probably. Alright. Can we get a better camera angle that's, like, not right up this guy's butt? The answer to that is yes, but unfortunately we can't quite get a more skilled player. So, that might be a bit of an issue. Fuck. Well, at least it's really easy to get out of there. Hey. Did I pretty much just make the jump earlier anyway? Sheesh. And I have to do all this technical shit, apparently. Rotate, please. Fuck's sakes. Again, I probably could be doing this a much simpler way, but... Right, so this gap we have to do that. I think this one we can just do regular jumping. There we go. Alright, so we just avoid those, and we check out this sign. Peach Mountain Shogun's Ghost Toys Castle. Do we want to save? Absolutely we want to save. Let's always save right in front of the dungeon. That's a smart idea. No, really, it is a smart idea. And in we go to the Ghost Toys Castle. The music here is really excellent. Also, we got some ghosts. And we got these red Daruma things, so we want to light the torches, as that dog told us. Funny how that actually ended up being true. So this is going to be Ibizumaru's dungeon pretty much entirely. The crane will not operate without the power, and that camera is his, so he needs that in order to do a lot of stuff here, but we're going to end up using him just most of the time anyway, because, again, this is pretty much his dungeon. And yeah, we got this spear thing going on with the floor that's a little hard to dodge, but thankfully, it won't kill you. And again, we have a lot of HP, so it's fine. Yay! We've gotten another one of those. There's a lot of these in dungeons. At least it sure seems like. Oh, geez, that's a lot of noise. What's going on here? Where's this gonna take us? Just over here. Alright, well, I guess it takes us to the other side of the room and we can work backwards or something. Or you just go straight to the door and completely ignore Mr. Elephant there, but we may as well pick up our humble narrator. Oh wow, I'm surprised we can make that jump. Alrighty. Oh, I thought I walked past, but not quite. Not without consequence, anyway. And in here, got a couple of these goofy looking things, but we also can pick this up and take it to the top of this thing here for, I think, just some coins. It might even be a key, though. Well, that didn't go over very well because these little Daruma dolls bounced at us. And did we lose it entirely? I think we did. We may have to reset this room in order to get that. The door is locked. But if we just kill everything in here, I guess we get the key. Okay. So perhaps that's not important, but you know what? I'm going to show it off anyway, just to be sure. And these are the type of games where I like to show as much off as possible. I mean, it's going to cost us a lot of health because the bouncing movements of these things are really difficult to deal with. And admittedly, Ibizumaru's hammer swings in a slightly funky way compared to what we are used to with the pipe. So our ability to hit might not always be the greatest in the world. Alright, set that down. It turns into a flower that coughs up a bunch of money. That's pretty much what I told you earlier. Hooray. Alright, so over there is another locked door. And we got some more of these things that, again, are difficult to deal with. Camera, do you want to perhaps be usable here? I would appreciate it if you could join up with us and... we jumped basically through that rope. That's a problem. Okay, I'm going from the other side. Turn, camera, there we go. That's more like it. As we walk into the water again. Oh, that's not what we want. That is a perfect camera setup. You get this golden fortune doll, which is the equivalent of a heart container. And it gives us nice full health. That's good shit. Let's keep going. And here we go through the flooded underside here on these shogi pieces. I think that's what they're supposed to be. That is something I am not very knowledgeable about. One of these days I'll remember to, you know, add that to my repertoire of strange things that I happen to know. Well, strange is a bit of a stretch. You know, maybe for an American, but... Those, I think, are just health, so... Let's keep going out here. There we go. The power of the crane game has been turned on. We cannot turn it off. Grab the key. Grab that silver fortune doll. And let's go over the fence. And this thing... Yeah, you jump on the buttons to control the crane game. It works like a crane game does in real life. I.e., it is designed for you to not be able to win very easily. And you do have to get the camera in order to complete this dungeon. And in order to complete the rest of the game. It sucks. I don't like it. It's the sort of thing I'm really bad at. And you have to wait every time when this happens. I think that's going to be off a little bit. Yeah, that's too far up. You can tell, first of all, this camera angle, just like in an actual crane game, is really not designed to help you. And second of all, also much like in any actual crane game that I've pressed, the crane controls have some momentum to them. We keep pushing that. That might be too far now. Yeah, see, that's the right amount up, but it's not the right amount over. To be quite honest with you, I am sorely tempted to bust out some save states with this. However, I think that actually got it, but what I would do is the save state just you know, do the first movement of the horizontal thing, save state, then just run it vertically and see if it's far enough over to the side. And if it is, then you load it up and you just keep doing the vertical thing until you get it right. But that turned out to not be very important. But here we go. Mizumaru receives the wind-up camera. Hold down the B button and let go. A light will shine, allowing you to see items you would not normally see, or hidden items. Even ghosts will appear. We can already see the ghosts, but you have to flash them with the camera. And let me emphasize... Boy, that joke is terrible. In order to be able to hit them. Alright, so we don't have to do anything fancy, we just go this way. And now that we have the key, we should... Yeah, we got the key earlier. Yeah, there was a silver key in there. So we should be able to go through that locked door and continue deeper into the dungeon. So for example, let's pick up Mr. Arrow here. I haven't mentioned this before, but this shows the boss location on the map, but you'll notice I haven't been using the dungeon map worth anything because it doesn't show you where you are in the... It shows you what room you're in, but it doesn't show you like an arrow for where you are in the dungeon. The dungeon map in this game is not very good. Also, yeah, the music, the second layer is kicking in. This song gets pretty rad. With those synths hitting those high notes, it's really good. I love it a lot. Also, check out this nasty blood water. If we go in there, we start taking damage. And we got a couple of these Mr. Molecule looking fellas in here. For anyone who remembers Earthbound. As you should. Looks at stream channel name. Alright. Keep going. Keep going. Up to the next floor. So we are currently keyless right now, right? Yes. We need a silver key in order to get deeper into the dungeon. Don't whistle. Don't whistle, that gets picked up on the mic. Alright, these spinning tops, these have some very funky momentum for you when you're on them. Mostly because you're, like, actually spinning. So that can mess you up. And yeah, there we go. We fell in the blood. You can see the magenta, dark magenta Kool-Aid here. Just draining the shit out of us. That's my fault. I thought I could make that jump to the last top, I guess. Or we could try taking a ghost photograph here and see if a hidden path shows up, and it did not. Most of the time when that's going to be a thing that you should do, it will be very obvious. Oh, I see now. Are they like playing cards or something? Or a similar but more Japanese idea? These their thin bodies. Anyway, most of the time when you want to use the camera in order to reveal a hidden path, it's going to be pretty obvious. Most of the time. This game is kind of straightforward most of the time, so, I mean, that's good too. It'll get more complicated in certain areas later on, but yeah, especially for now, it's not going to be too hard to hash things out. Instead, we've got more of these rotators, and we've got the blood water, and we've got these other spinning things. A lot of kinetic motion between these objects in this dungeon, so that's neat. Hey! Alright, asshole. It's hit detection. Oof. You're not cutting me any slack. There's a silver key for us. Back in we go. I think at the very least, in this room, there is a full heal for us to pick up. So that's nice, I think. Yeah, there it is. If we had one more of those fortune dolls, that would be a full heal as well, but alas, no. Let's go through this locked door, and we've got the turning ropes. Case where the door at the end is locked, maybe? No. Door over here is open. Although, who knows, there may be a door behind this that is... The floor of this room is taken with the camera. And yeah, you can see our gaps in the path. But the game was very open about the fact that you should take the photograph here. If it had not told us, the design would probably have been something that was a little obvious, like it would have all been blood water paths instead or something. And there's our gold key, so we can go back across the ropes. Crud. I thought we were going to be able to get away without getting a hit there, but not so much. Alright, we'll take a quick picture in here just in case, because my brain was immediately like, oh boy, the ghosts are going to spawn right on top of us, ain't they? There's our heals. So this is just a resupply room. I guess we have to go back into the big room, and there's a gold lock at the other side of that. Huh. Interesting layout they got going on here, but as I sort of alluded to, a lot of the times those keys are just like deeper layers of security, basically. Yikes. And there's our gold lock. Can we get to the full health easily? Not as easily as I would like, so we're we're just gonna do this, and we're gonna hope that this area is fairly safe. As we segue into the third theme for this dungeon. Don't worry, we get even more wailing synths in a moment. It's pretty great. Alright. And of course, it's a toy themed thing. You know, anything that's like toys or gambling or sports related, there's gotta be billiards involved, right? I'm surprised that that one room in Killer 7 didn't have a billiards thing. Hey! Stop rolling me over, man. This would actually be a really good time for old boy here to get some enhanced reach. Nice. And that's gonna be our silver key. That said, Ibizu can handle the rest of this himself, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty dang sure. Oh yeah, especially if we've got another ghost room here. As I just switch characters anyway, because honestly, sometimes the way that C button control thing works, just I forget to do it the smart way, basically. There's a nice full heal for us. And we fell in the garbage water. So we gotta go back over. And at the end of here, we get a diamond key. That is... sounds like it's a little overkill in terms of just making your security look fancy, but whatever. Alright. We're going to exit this room and re-enter real quick in order to get that heal to refresh. And apparently the ghosts as well. That was a little less of my intent, but we can handle this. Alright. So... get that. Go through this door. And there's our diamond lock. It's a little bit transparent, but go through, and what do you got on the sign, buddy? Find the Darmanio's weak point using the wind-up camera. Gotcha. So again, this is going to primarily be an Ibizumaru boss fight, I guess. No save point beforehand? Well, it is what it is. As face phases on, and we've got different boss music this time, which is actually what we get for most of the bosses in this game, is this theme. The surrender robot, huh? Look at that beating heart. Okay, yeah, so it still fades out every once in a while. I could not remember. Ah, crud. Yeah, I couldn't remember if this thing, if you had to keep taking pictures of it or what, but no, it phases in and out of solidity. Alright, just go in one direction. It's a simple pattern. And yeah, this is definitely a place where being at full health is a good thing because we're going to take a lot of hits here. This is not something you should do if you're trying to, like, get through this run without taking a hit or something. This fight is definitely a place where that would be ruined pretty readily. And there we go. A pretty easy boss fight. Almost as much so as the previous one, just we actually took damage here. And let's pick up our miracle flower, in the shape of a flower apparently. And who's this nerd who looks like the same nerd but in a different color? Oh, is this Colon? I mean, you could go to their homes instead and do that. Spring Breeze dancing. This guy would probably be a little better off if there were actual vocals for that and like singing or something. His sleeves don't look like they have enough. Like my armpits. Antonio? Where do you even get that name from? You think Antonio is a good name for a Bizumaru? I mean... well... I would look for something that more communicates enormous nose. Maybe Fernandez. Well, I don't know. Oh, you mean Sasuke's corpse? Oh. Don't come to the Chugoku region no matter what. Oh, thank you for telling us where we have to go. Do I want to save the game to this point in our adventure diary? Absolutely, I would like to save. Alright, everybody. So I think that is a good place to stop. Thank you all for watching. I will see you next time.